Hey, it's Gavin here. Welcome back. So this video is a little bit different because lately I've had a few people reach out to me asking more about, hey, I see that you're traveling, you're doing this automation work. How did you start doing that? I want to be able to travel. I'm currently in a job, but I want the freedom. I want to be able to see the world. I want to be able to make money online. And obviously that is what I do. I'm an automation freelancer. I'm a certified Zapier expert, and I run my own automation agency. And I've been doing that since 2016. I haven't had an in-office job since 2016. And now I've visited 10 plus countries. I have lived in 3 plus countries for extended periods of time. And I get to surf during the day sometimes. I get to spend time with my friends. And I haven't had to be in an office in a long time, and I'm making multiple 4 figures a month doing that. So I wanted to make this video to serve essentially as inspiration and just talk about my journey. And in that, I didn't start here. I did start in a technical background, but I think it's important to see that everything is a journey and it naturally changes towards how someone is now. So this journey started back in 2016, and obviously now we're in 2022, and I'm going to jump way back to 2016 and talk to you a little about who I was then and also how I got to where I am now. So if we dial back to 2012, that was when I started studying at university. I studied computer science and business science. So essentially like a double degree. And if you realize, I mentioned business science as well because I wanted to understand how technology fits into business. Because ultimately, whatever skill we're learning, whether it's automation, marketing, design, copywriting, anything like that, we're using it to solve problems. And that was why I was curious about doing business science as well, because I was like, I enjoy computers, I'm good at computers, why I studied computer science, but I also want to understand how this fits into a broader context. I always knew I wanted to go more into a business direction eventually, of build a business that solves people's problems. And I did this 4-year degree. It was an amazing experience. I learned so many different things, got exposed to very different aspects that I wouldn't have, like cybersecurity and all that type of stuff. And I finished university in 2016, and I went to work as a software developer for a business, for a really great business. I really enjoyed my time there. But very quickly for me, I started to have that itch. A lot of people who end up working online and traveling in the world have it. Like, why am I coming to this office? Why am I having to sit in traffic in the mornings? Even though it was a great company and they had a lot of flexibility in regards to working from home, I just knew I had that itch and I wasn't going to be happy until I scratched it. So after a while for working in this business, I just said, like, hey, I have to kind of take a step back and I have to go do this thing myself. I was already freelancing a little bit in the software engineering space, so helping people add on features. I was doing some work for past clients that I'd done internships for, so a freelance software developer. And this was great, but very quick into this journey of traveling to different countries and working online. As a software engineer, I picked up on something very quickly, and this is what started to move me towards automation, is that I realized software engineering was not going to allow me to essentially reach my goals. So I have different goals when it comes to lifestyle, business, how much money I want to make, relationships, all these different types of things. And ultimately, I realized that software engineering just wasn't going to allow me to reach these goals that I have, as I mentioned, because it's very time consuming. It takes a lot of focus. Each of these projects, the timelines could be 1 month if you're just adding a few little features, or it could be 6 months if you're building something from scratch, could be even longer. And also these projects notoriously get much, much bigger than expected if expectations aren't managed very well. And I realized also when it comes to the traveling side of things, time zones made it very tricky to collaborate on these projects, because especially in the early stages, if you're trying to just work out what a project is going to look like, what is this project going to be, what does it solve, you need a lot of coordination and collaboration. And it was very tricky with the time zones, and also working at different times while I was traveling and sightseeing and doing the aspects of my life that I wanted to do with surfing and travel and all that type of thing. So I started to think, okay, how can I still use my technology skills to solve problems, but it's not as intensive as, say, being a software engineer is or a computer scientist is. And I naturally found myself helping businesses with things like Google Sheets and creating little scripts there with Google App Script, and also helping businesses with their marketing automation, which is very much part of the lead generation part of their businesses. I was like, oh great, there's actually these tools that offer a lot of the solutions that businesses need, and it doesn't require me to code anything, but also my computer science background, my technical skills, they are so helpful here because I properly understand how different apps communicate. I understand how different data is passed between different applications. So it was massively beneficial to have these technical skills, but still by using these tools like Google Sheets and Zapier and ActiveCampaign, all these marketing automation tools. And I started to do a couple of those projects and I was like, wow, this is great. It's so much easier to scope these projects. Most of them are not as big as, say, a computer science project would be. They're very, very seldom they last 6 months. Very seldom they even last 2-3 months, and then you kind of have an ongoing relationship. But each piece of the project still be quite nicely bite-sized. It's nicely scoped. You understand what you're trying to do. And there's natural limitations of what you can do using these tools, so it keeps the project quite nicely packaged together. And I found just by starting to do more of these projects, I was like, wow, this is really allowing me to live the lifestyle I wanted. I was still making great money. I was still being able to travel, and it just started to align much, much better with my life goals and where I want to go versus being a computer scientist was. It also allowed me to be more of a business owner by focusing on these automation tools and marketing automation, as opposed to being a computer scientist, which is very in the details, as opposed to you overlooking what's the problem being solved, what's the general solution that's going to be solved here, and then I could also start hiring people for that. So that's just a bit of an introduction of why I decided to go more of the automation direction. I think this would also inspire a lot of people who are maybe thinking about learning software engineering or they want to learn automation. For me, computer science was massively beneficial, but like I said, automation and learning these skills and building an agency focused on automation has enabled me much, much better to live the lifestyle and achieve the goals that I want to be living. So I hope you found this a little bit inspirational. That was the entire goal of this. And I think it's important to understand why someone ended up where they are. It gives you a lot more context, and it can make you start to think like, oh, maybe that's my situation as well. Maybe I should explore that. Until next time, that's it for now. And I hope you enjoyed this little bit of an introduction to my journey, but also hopefully, again, it inspires a bit of your journey if you're thinking about getting started on it. And if you are, you can check the description, because there will be either a link to my website or a link to a newsletter that you can go check out, and it will be a much better way for us to keep in touch, and I can keep giving value to you in this way.